Thank you, Matt. Well done. All right, if Dwight in the back, Klepser in the front, we are going to take a few minutes for questions. And Aaron, if you could be close by as well. All right, folks, what do you got?
Question for Matt. With the 100,000 square feet for the CVS building, what's the potential for bringing in like a mid-sized company that house there as opposed to bringing
I think that the market for downtown Chapel Hill right now is probably looking at needing to create a critical mass of something. And I think bringing in a mid-sized company right now is probably not likely on the health of our office market. If we want people that want to be here, they're looking to be, the urban planning term is agglomeration. They want to be next to other people like them. So I think we need to decide what downtown is going to be. I think it has an excellent opportunity as a life science center, as an innovation district because of the proximity to the university. And then when we start bringing in people that want to be next to Google, that want to be next to somebody doing life science research, that's where our key is. If you are a mid-sized company that's looking to bring in 50,000 square feet of space, you're going to be looking at a Raleigh or a Durham, which is much healthier, much more mature office market. We need to be looking at the space that is small companies that have strong ties to the university, either from alumni or for research, that need to be close to the university.
What do you think the commercial tax base needs to be here?
Say more.
One of the problems with affordability is the tax, the level of tax here, right? Everybody feels that pain. To make it more affordable, you can offset that with a stronger commercial tax base. How can we get there? What does it need to be? What does policy need to look like? That's
Sure.
where it's at.
I think, so, excellent question. I'm going to answer it a little bit differently, but.
Could you
So-
repeat the question? Yes.
So her question was about commercial tax base, what the commercial tax base should be, which is a pretty simplified way of looking at that question, I think. I appreciate what you're saying, and I think really the question is, what is the split between single-family housing and between not single-family housing? And right now, to build and maintain roads, to build and maintain sewers, to build and maintain infrastructure, if you have mostly single-family housing, your housing has to be $500,000, $1 million for you to be able to balance your books. So that is a really difficult question. Going back to your question earlier on rental housing, there's a number of things happening in the market. Most people want rental housing. Not most people, many people want rental housing. Because of the price of single-family housing in Chapel Hill, it's pushing more people to rent in general. People from my generation and younger, after the recession, are looking for less commitment, either because they're more transient because they're following jobs, or because they don't want to be locked into a mortgage that could go underwater and that they're stuck with. So that increase in rental housing in many ways is a response to the market. To your question, there is a major difference between the tax base in single-family housing and in multifamily housing. So I think part of the pain that downtown Chapel Hill is going through right now is that it used to be that the only place to do any of your retail was in downtown Chapel Hill. And so you have some of the highest rents in the triangle for retail in downtown Chapel Hill. Where you have created all of these other really great, wonderful spaces all throughout Chapel Hill, all throughout Carrboro, that are dividing up on a very small residential customer base. And you're not getting people from Durham or Raleigh coming to Chapel Hill anymore for their fine dining, because they now have their own markets. So to your question, in terms of that commercial tax base, I think we need to think about it beyond just retail. Retail is hurting, street retail. Restaurants, there's only so many restaurants that we can add without adding a lot more people. But there is a major difference between multifamily apartment tax base and single-family tax base. That multifamily tax base, as Dwight showed in his numbers, that's happening in Blue Hill, adds a ton of money. It takes, if you're looking at what it takes to add a mile of road, if you're adding 400 people that live on that mile of road versus 5 people that live on that mile of road, that division of infrastructure costs is much different. So to your question, I think downtown Chapel Hill, personally, as I've looked and talked to businesses, we need more residents, we need more customers that are in walking distance within our trade areas. And I think that additionally to that, that tax base on those buildings is going to make the town's coffers much healthier and reduce the reliance on single-family housing. That was a long answer, I apologize.
So it's a good point. You look at Cary, Raleigh, Durham, they're anywhere from 25 to 40%. We're 18%. We also don't have the land to be 40% commercial tax base, but we certainly need to be as aggressive as we can when the opportunity arises, both with office, with what we've done out on Millhouse Road with the Enterprise Zone. We're certainly laying the groundwork to see growth occur. And this year's budget reflects commercial growth for Chapel Hill, which helped offset some of our budget needs. So I think we're on a path. It took a long strategic road to see the fruits of that path. It doesn't happen in 1 year. It did not take 1 year to get here. And so I think that we're better prepared for the future today than we were years ago.
We can take one more question. Steve?
So as a follow-up to that, is it fair to say a rising tide raises all boats, that if we can get more office and multifamily, that the tax base for residential would go down and then residential growth could occur?
So we've talked about this issue. I'm in my 13th year in Chapel Hill, and we've talked about this numerous times, including when we did the 2020 comp plan. And the reality is we're on a pretty strong path already. And with commercial growth, I think the best we see happen is we offset future tax increases versus seeing the residential necessarily go down. But at least it begins to balance out a little bit better by providing new income to support the level of services that we've grown to accustomed to in Chapel Hill.
Final thoughts? All right, great. Aaron, any recap? All right, please put your hands together for Dwight and Matt.